Do you think that can change if you're running it as a convention game?
I think con games, they're such a different beast regardless of the system that you're using. Con games, you can't really rely as much on improv, but also you have to rely on improv, because if you're just playing with your friends, you probably have a decent idea of like how crazy they might get or what they might do. But when you're in a con game, it has to be more structured, but you also have to be like more flexible, because con gamers can do just anything, and you only have so much time, and you want to make sure the experience is great. And I think that this is a really wishy-washy answer, but you both need a really trusting relationship as like somebody who's running a con game and like the players, but also, I don't know. Con games are tricky. They're so tricky, especially writing adventures for con games is also very tricky.
That's extra hard, because if you're not going to run the adventure yourself, you don't necessarily know how it's going to be run. And, of course, those con game adventures are always, like, something that have to be put together in addition to whatever normal stuff is going on. So they are often a little bit more sparse than, like, a published adventure, because it's, like, this thing for this con that maybe we then put together in a later thing, but it's not, it's a full book that's going to go through the full process.
It's also crazy because you want to have enough content because the group that's playing it, you have no idea who that group is. They might just rush through all of the content. So you want to make sure there's enough content to get through the 3.5, 4 hours. But you also want to make sure that a lot of that content is optional, and that then requires the GM to be flexible. And it's a lot.
I'm a strong believer in fairly hardcore railroading for con games. You want to be polite with your players about it, but saying, hey, this is the adventure we've got. I'm happy to let you explore alternate solutions to problems, but I'm not willing to let you pursue alternate problems.
Yeah, please keep your limbs inside the cart at all.
You can, and it's like an escape room. You can solve this puzzle however you want. And like, maybe if there's like something that really makes sense for you to go into a room you're not supposed to go into, then we go over there. But I'm eventually probably going to lead you back to the path, because this is what I have prepared. This is the time we have to play it. If we were running this in our own time, meandering wouldn't be a problem. But that's how I usually do con games, is I tend to be pretty structured. I keep a close eye on the time. I try to keep the pacing. I try to keep the players focused on the problems that I set out. Again, like, you want to let them solve those problems however they want to, but you want to keep them from finding or creating too many new problems.
I just want to like say one more thing about this. For a player that's participating in a con game, you need to trust that your game master wants to give you the best experience. So try really hard not to give them an exceptionally hard time. And please don't do it.
And I have to say, most of my experiences running con games have been super positive. Like, players generally react to that, because a lot of I think players are sort of used to it, because a lot of con games are basically tactical minis games with like some amount of role playing. And that's fine. That's not a bad thing. I love minis games. I work on minis games full time. Like, a lot of con games that I see are like very focused on, you're going to go into this room and kill these monsters and take this treasure, and then go into this room and kill these monsters and take this treasure. And again, that's a lot easier to put together for a con than like an intrigue plot with 85 moving parts. So players tend to be pretty tolerant of being a little bit railroaded in con games, in my experience. Again, as long as you're not cutting off the ways they're allowed to solve the problems. I also tend to be a believer in a good, healthy dash of Monty Hall in con games. Let the players get the big wins when they really pursue them. If the enemy has like a super awesome sword, but there's like a plot reason they're not supposed to get it. I don't know, some meta plot consideration, but they're gonna like defeat that enemy and they really want the sword, then just let them have it. It's just a con game. You don't have to deal with the ramifications of this for 20 sessions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.